I think you can all hear me. I'm not going to speak anymore, but I would like to thank everybody, especially Rosa Rogers, Hind Jalal, and Annie for this excellent series of presentations and discussions. I think at least I hope, there are a few questions in your mind, either about the documentary, the process thereof, the discussions that you've heard from Hind, which were pretty thorough about what's going on in the context of Morocco, and now the presentations around Imams for Shi. Can I see a show of hands? Questions, comments? Awesome, Imam Shamsi, please, given that you are the one Imam for Shi, you get the floor.
Thank you very much. I'm an Imam for Shi and he as well. First, I would like to underline again my point that when we come to the issue of gender equality, religion, particularly Islam, basically is no problem. We can see that the Mushida talk about religion genuinely, sincerely. But it's about cultural norms in all particular society. And I think my non-Muslim friends should take that seriously to their minds, because oftentimes Islam is being accused as the source of these kind of discriminations, gender equality. Secondly, I think we need to be more aggressive in reaching out the imams. I'm sure there's a lot of imams that the same way of thinking that I have, but unfortunately it is again cultural norms that we have in our society, even including here in the United States. Luckily, within the Islamic perspective, we don't have that chief imams, so we don't have anyone to decide what we think about our interpretations. And particularly the imams in the United States, I think we have this great opportunity to embrace Annie's idea of reinterpretations. Because we don't have any economic problems, we don't have any financial problems, so far we can still eat 3 times a day. So I think we have more rational thinking and judgment in terms of interpretation of the religion. Thank you very much.
My question is, first I have a question about the platform and sort of the agenda that you have. But I know in the work that I do as a priest with the Christian community that sort of the delineation between a conservative and a progressive Christian is this relationship to the Bible to some extent, the sacred text. And so it's kind of an easy sell for me to do that, because a lot of people are looking at the proof texting and the literalism of the conservatives and walking away from that. But do you have that same distinction? Because I found with the imams that I've worked with, that you can't touch that.
أنا زكية من جمعية النخيل من المغرب et je suis partenaire de l'UNFPA.
أنا زكية من جمعية sorry. From Nakhil Association in Morocco, and we work in partnership with UNFPA.
donc je remercie هند على راح بشكر هند على المداخلة نتاعو. أنا بشتغل كثير مع هند من خلال منذ 2002.
I thank Hind for her intervention, and we've been working together since 2002.
شفت الفيلم لكن لقيناه بادئ، ما شفتش الأول تاع الفيلم.
We missed the beginning of the movie.
لكن الملاحظة العامة كنت أتمنى أن يكون في الفيلم المرشدين الدينيين كذلك وليس المرشدات فقط.
I would have liked to see more male مرشدين rather than only مرشدات, female مرشدات.
لأن اشتغلنا في إطار برنامج تمكين MDGs بالمغرب، في إطار برنامج مع وكالات الأمم المتحدة، واشتغلنا مع رابطة العلماء، وكان هناك مجموعة من الأنشطة التي تم القيام بها ولم تدرج في الشريط الوثائقي حتى تعطي الجملة أو الفكرة عامة عن العمل مع رجال الدين في المغرب.
So they worked within a framework on MDGs with UNFPA in Morocco, and they worked a lot with the League of, I guess that would be religious scientists, and many of this was not reflected in many of these activities.
مثل كان هناك مجموعة تاع القوافل التوعوية والتحسيسية الذين يقوم بها رجال الدين مع النساء، وليس فقط في المساجد، بمعنى أن كان هناك عمل بالمساجد وخارج المساجد.
So there was a lot of awareness caravans that were taking place in the communities, so by the male murshideen, so not only in mosques but also in the communities themselves.
كذا كان هناك دورات تكوينية دي سبوت بيبليسيتير.
There were training programs as well as public advertising spots. Awareness. you said it in French.
كذلك أن بالنسبة لنا تم التركيز في الشريط فقط على تزويج الطفلات، لكن أن المرشدات ليس بأنه تكون هناك في البداية دروس اللي هي أبجدية، بمعنى لأن هناك الهدف الأول هو محاربة الأمية الأبجدية، وبالمقابل يكون هناك دورات تحسيسية وتوعوية كما جاء في الشريط حول المشاكل تاع النساء والأطفال.
So there was a lot of focus here. Okay, I'm going to try to remember. There was a lot of focus on the early marriage, but in reality there was also a lot of illiteracy or literacy classes. شو حكيت غير
محو الأمية وكاين الأبجدية، لكن بالمقابل يتم هناك حصص توعوية أخرى.
In addition to awareness sessions.
So through the literacy classes, they were also reaching out to do more awareness about women's empowerment and other things in the society. Through the literacy, it wasn't just through focusing on early marriage.
يعني من خلال محو الأمية كانوا عم يعملوا هدول الدورات التوعوية مش
Just
فقط.
wants to complement what was in the documentary. Do you have a question? Vous avez une question?
لا، عندي لأن يمكن أن يكون مجموعة تاع إضافات للشريط، مثل أن يكون هناك دي سونور دي فام اللي يستفيدوا من هذه الدروس، وكان عندهم واحد نوع تاع تأثير إيجابي، وكذلك الرجال.
There were a lot of women who benefited positively as well as men. So just in terms of
Wait,
suggestions.
thank you.
I need to answer.
On Netflix?
Oh, okay. All right, so the first question of the 21st century imams, the resistance in comparison to the Christian progressive versus the Orthodox Christian clergy. I think, of course, there is the resistance by some imams, but I think, this is really a sarcastic response, but I've seen scenarios where when the girls are educated, not necessarily in America, for example, but in developing countries, when girls are educated, they work and they bring home income for the family. Then all of a sudden, the status of girls and women rises. Right? It boils down to income. It boils down to how can you contribute to the well-being of the family. So sadly, it boils down to money in some instances. And when that happens, it doesn't matter what the imam says, right? Second question, youth on board. We need your help. So the idea that I've been playing around is that to create an app on all these progressive messaging, whether it be YouTube, whether it be infographics or what have you, lectures, but not to have it on the website because everybody has cell phones, especially in the developing countries. And so to bypass religious institutions, to bypass parents, to bypass the schools and all the governments, you go straight to the kid's cell phone. But I need a technician to work with me on that one. But I think that's the way. I have statistics on how many millions and billions of phones, how many, in each country, what language, all that good stuff. So I've started doing my homework on that. The third one is ulamas are not reflected in the film. I think it was very focused on the Morshida. But yeah, we obviously being this is about Imam Sushi, this particular forum. So we recognize there are some good ulamas. Absolutely, that's why this program and our initiative is called Imam Sushi. But imams doesn't necessarily mean just the imams of the mosque. It means the religious, the ulamas. It means the scholars of Islam, whether you're a man or a woman. It means the lay leaders, also leaders who are not of clergy status. Because, for example, I'm a lay leader of the Muslim community, progressive Muslim community in America. So it includes everyone that has of any leadership role.
I have one quick question. But you said not in the very beginning, but you said that there are, there are imams who are very restricted, and there are also imams who actually want to make these changes and more modern. So but you said that those have usually been repressed or kind of threatened by certain powers, let's say. And how do you think it will work with your project, for example, as you are involving these imams to work for progressive, you are even saying interpretation of Quran, and that can be actually be very problematic with some imams. So how do you think you will work with their security?
Great question.
So we have worked with an imam, and I won't say his name because he hasn't come out of the closet. He's very much a progressive imam, and because of something he said at one of our events, I'm talking about America, and he got so ridiculed to the point that he has recoiled, and it's a real pity. So we need to empower them, and we need to empower them by, I think, through social media. I think for us that's how it's worked, is by saying, hey, this imam is saying the right thing. You know, this is the kind of message we want to hear. And the more people that come aboard that share it on Twitter or on Facebook, for example, it emboldens them, right? But it is a challenge but I think we're at the tipping point too, because I think there are imams here in the United States, and if anything, that's one thing that Muslims for Progressive Values is good at doing too, is that challenging the leadership. So why are you silent on this issue? What's your problem? You are actually privileged. You should be speaking up, for example, about Muslim rights, human rights that are the violence in the name of Islam in Muslim majority countries, which actually none of the Muslim organizations speak about. So unless it's specific to your particular madhab, right? But this is a challenge, and I think the more Muslims, in particular in the West, speak up, the more they pressure the leadership, the more then the leadership will move in the right direction.
Any other questions, comments? We're good, okay. Yes, please, a reminder that this board, which was formerly called black, but I think is actually brown. Thank you. Reminder, interviews in front of there. Last but by no means least, we need to thank our amazing speakers, Rosa Rogers and the film director, Hind Jalal, and Rani Sonnevel. I think you'll all agree with me, it takes a tremendous amount of creativity and a lot of courage to be able to do what these women have done and will continue to do. So we wish you all the very best in your initiatives, and we most certainly look forward to a league, meaning a lot, yani, of imams for Shia of all varieties and typologies. Thank you all very much indeed.
And thank you, Azza. Thank you.
There's a lady I got to know. She lived 1400 years ago. The wife of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon her.